Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about will and will not, or in short form, want. We use will or want for predictions about the future, usually with I think, I believe, I expect. For example, I think you will like it. With be sure, be afraid, and certainly, probably. For example, I'm afraid I won't make it to the meeting. We use will or want for immediate decisions and offers. For example, okay, I'll drive you then. We use will or want for actions that will definitely happen and we can't control. For example, he'll be 8 next month. And we use them to ask someone to do something for us. For example, will you get me a glass of water, please? So, the positive form of will is I will tell you something, or in short, I'll tell you something. Now, it's a good idea for you to repeat after me here. So I'm going to read slowly. Try to repeat after me, okay? I will tell you something. I'll tell you something. You will tell me something. You'll tell me something. We will tell you something. We'll tell you something. They will tell us something. They'll tell us something. He will tell them something. He'll tell them something. She will tell him something. She'll tell him something. It will tell you something. It'll tell you something. And what I want you to be careful about is after will, we have our actions, tell, and here as well. And they are all in the base form. They are all in single base, nothing taken form. So we never say we will telling, never. We never say I will told. We never say she will tells. No, always tell, go, come, sit, stand, drink, eat, listen, write. Let's see the negative ones. And again, I'm going to read slowly so you can repeat after me. I will not go to the party, or as in short form, I won't go to the party. You will not get too close. You won't get too close. We will not invite them. We won't invite them. They will not give it. They won't give it. He will not drive. He won't drive. She will not eat. She won't eat. It will not work. It won't work. Now, as you can see here, again, just like the positive, negative sentences don't take anything, the actions, the verbs, don't take anything. We don't say going, getting, invited, gave, or drives. We say go, get, drive, go, get, invite, give, drive, eat, work, and short form is the same. Questions. Will I be pretty? And in short answer, we can say, yes, you will. No, you won't. Will you help me? Yes, I will. No, I won't. Will we join the club? Yes, we will. No, we won't. Will they be here on time? Yes, they will. No, they won't. Will he apologize? Yes, he will. No, he won't. Will she call you? Yes, she will. No, she won't. Will it start soon? Yes, it will. No, it won't. Just like positive and negatives, the questions are the same. We don't put anything after the verb. The verb is always in the base form. Not being, not helped, not joins. Be, help, join, apologize, call, start. So when we use will, it's always, the verb is always in the base form. All right, let's see. Here we have 11 questions. It says ask and answer the questions. I'm going to show you the first one as an example and you can do the rest. Sorry. It says have a party on your birthday this year. So I want to make this a question and it says your birthday. So I say, will you have a party on your birthday this year? And I'm answering, yes, I will have a party on my birthday this year because this year was not very easy. So, yes, I will. No, I won't. That will be enough, right? So, you don't have to write yes, I will, no, I won't for each answer. You can simply answer it for yourself. Pause the video here, give yourself 10 minutes, make the questions question, and then answer them. Let's see. Will you go to university when you finish school? I think, yes, you will. Will you travel abroad if you have enough money? I think you will. Will you go out with your friends at the weekend? No, you won't. Will you watch TV this evening? No, you won't because you will be studying English, right? Will you study hard for next term's exams? Yes, you will. Will you learn how to drive next summer? No, you won't because you are too young to drive. Will you go into politics after university? I don't know. Maybe you will. Will you be rich before 18? I don't know. Maybe you will. Will you learn to fly a helicopter? Maybe you will. Will you get married before 25? I think you shouldn't. So I hope your answer is no, I won't, because it's too young. So we're going to talk about if clauses today, in addition to will and won't. We can say if clauses, we can say conditionals, or in Turkish we can say koşul cümlesi, or we can say şart cümlesi. I mean, it's simple. It's simply eğer. There are 3 types of conditionals in English language. Now, maybe 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we said there are 4 types of conditionals. Type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3. And now we say there are 3 types of conditionals, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Now, of course, we have type 0, but it's very similar to type 1, so we don't talk about it separately. Type 0 and type 1 are together. So now we say there are 3 types of conditionals, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Type 1, you can talk about it today. Type 2, next year. Type 3, 11th grade. For every type of if clause, for every type of conditional, we have 2 parts in our sentences. There is the if part, eğer, and then there is the main clause. Now, if you are late, you will miss the train. Look at this. If you are late, so we have the if part. You will miss the train. This is the main clause. If the if part is in the beginning of the sentence, we use a comma. Look at this. we use a comma, right? If the if part is at the end of the sentence, then no comma. Sentences, these two sentences, have the same meaning. Nothing is different. Only, excuse me, only the comma. So moving on. If you're late, you'll miss the train. You'll miss the train if you're late. Same idea. Let's see some examples and let's talk about how we use if. If he studies hard, he'll pass his exams. Example 1. Example 2. Water turns into ice if the temperature falls below 0. Example 3. If you don't understand, look at the example. 4. If you go to New York, you can see the Statue of Liberty. You see, if he studies, if the temperature falls, if you don't understand, if you go to New York. So if part is always in present simple form. If he studies, if it falls, if you don't, if you go. If part can be in the beginning, can be at the end, it doesn't matter. It's always in the present simple form. But the other part, the main clause, can be different. If he studies, he will pass. So will won't, future simple. Water turns into ice if it falls. Present simple, present simple. If you don't understand, so present simple again, look at the example. Imperative, emir cümlesi. Emir cümlesi doesn't mean rude. It means very, very direct. Think about this song. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Is it rude? It's not. It is imperative just like this one. So it depends on your intonation. If you say, if you don't understand, look at the example, of course it's rude. But if you say, if you don't understand, look at the example, it's not rude. And if you go to New York, you can see the Statue of Liberty. Can, must, should, have to, has to. Can't, mustn't, shouldn't, don't have to, doesn't have to. So we call them models. If, look at the first example, right? If we use present simple, future simple, like this one, if he studies hard, he will pass his exams. We are talking about future. So his exam may be tomorrow. So if he studies hard, he'll pass his exams. Yes, we talk about future. Let's say tomorrow. If the weather is good tomorrow. Yes, I am talking about tomorrow, but I don't say will. This is very important. We have two parts in the sentence. If clause, main clause. If clause never, ever takes will. I'm going to repeat it for like a couple of times. We do not use will in if part. Let me say it again in a different way. You use will with if, it's wrong. Let me say it in Turkish just to make sure. If'li kısımda will veya won't, of course, hiçbir zaman olmaz. So I'm hoping I'm clear enough, right? So, if he studies hard, he'll pass his exams. This talks about future. Water turns into ice if the temperature falls below 0. Present simple, present simple. This one, present simple, so the second example. We use it for things that always happen. For example, if you fall, you will hurt yourself. If you don't eat, If you fall, you hurt yourself. That's always. You eat if you're hungry. Or uh, if you are tired, you sleep. Because it's always. If it rains, the streets get wet. So there is no will here. Always. If the temperature falls below 0, water always turns into ice. And the last two examples, if you don't understand, look at the example. And if you go to New York, you can see the Statue of Liberty. They actually give the meaning themselves. So there is nothing extra there. So if you don't understand, I'm telling you to look at the example. Or if you go to New York, you can simply see the Statue of Liberty because it's there. So we need to be careful, especially with the first and the second example. If we use future in the main clause, it means we're talking about the future. If we use present simple in the main clause, it means it happens all the time. Moving on. Here we have 10 adjectives and 10 possible pieces of advice. Let's see the first one. Nervous. Make a sandwich? Nah. Get something to drink? Have a rest? Meh, maybe. Go to bed? Maybe. Take one of these pills? Meh. Rarely, maybe. I don't know. Read a good book? Maybe. Listen to music? Possible. Take a deep breath? Sure. Now, if you're nervous, take a deep breath. Or take a deep breath if you're nervous. Tired. Maybe you might want to pause the video here and do it yourself. That would be great for you. All right? So, tired. If you're tired, have a rest. Or if you feel tired, have a rest. Have a rest if you're tired. Have a rest if you feel tired. If you're hungry, make a sandwich. Make a sandwich if you're hungry. If you're bored, read a good book. Or read a good book if you're bored. If you're thirsty, get something to drink. Or get something to drink if you're thirsty. If you're seasick, maybe some of you can't remember what seasick is. When you get on a boat and you don't feel good because of the sea, it's called being seasick or feeling seasick. It's because of the movement of the ship, because it moves all the time, so you feel bad, you feel dizzy, you can't eat, So if you're seasick, take one of these pills. Or take one of these pills if you're seasick. Or simply, if you're seasick, don't get on the boat. If you're homesick, now homesick is when you are away from your home, away from your family, you miss them. That's called being homesick. Like the people who are doing their military service duty, they feel homesick because they're away from their homes, they're away from their family. If you're homesick, call your family, or call your family if you're homesick. If you're sleepy, go to bed, or go to bed if you're sleepy. If you're angry, think happy thoughts, or think happy thoughts if you're angry. If you're sad, listen to music, or listen to music if you're sad. Now, of course, the answers can be different, but because we have a limited option, those are the correct ones. But you can say if you're bored, get something to drink with your friends. Or if you're bored, if you're angry, listen to music. Or call your family if you're bored. Or have a rest if you're nervous. So the answers can be different. Don't worry about them. We can add some things or we can change some things here. Remember the example, the last one? If you go to New York, you can see the Statue of Liberty. This is what we're doing here. We have London, Big Ben. We have Rome, the Colosseum. We have New York, the Empire State Building. We have Paris, the Eiffel Tower. We have Egypt, the pyramids. We have Sydney, Sydney Opera House, Venice, some gondolas, Hawaii, some palm trees. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got to be careful here, right, in order not to get confused. Let's see. If you go to London, you can see Big Ben. Or you can see Big Ben if you go to London. We can say if you visit London. Or we can say if you travel to London. Or if you are in London, you can see Big Ben. Or we can even change the next one too. We can say you can take a photo of Big Ben. You can pause in front of Big Ben. You can buy some gifts around Big Ben. Number 2, if you go to Rome, you can see the Colosseum. You can see the Colosseum if you go to Rome. If you go to New York, you can see the Empire State Building. You can see the Empire State Building if you go to New York. If you go to Paris, you can see the Eiffel Tower. You can see the Eiffel Tower if you go to Paris. Or you can maybe like, I heard when you say something creative, you can camp under the Eiffel Tower if you go to Paris. 5, if you go to Egypt, you can see the pyramids. You can see the pyramids if you go to Egypt. If you go to Sydney, you can see the Sydney Opera House. You can see the Sydney Opera House if you go to Sydney. 7, if you go to Venice, you can see some gondolas. Maybe you can ride some gondolas. You can ride some gondolas if you go to Venice. If you go to Hawaii, you can see some palm trees. You can see some palm trees if you go to Hawaii. You don't need to go to Hawaii to see some palm trees. We have them in Mersin as well. So here we have some situations. There are 3 stories here. Give yourself 5 minutes each, right? So I'm going to be giving out the answers. Give yourself 5 minutes, watch the answers to the first one. Give yourself 5 more minutes, and then watch the answers to the second story. And then again, 5 more minutes for the third one. Then watch the answers to the third story. Just to be sure, I'm going to show you the first answer to the first question. Look, it says talk and miss, and there are 2 blanks. The verbs, the actions are given in order. So the first verb will be used in the first blank, and second verb will be used in the second blank. Like this. If I talk to you now, I will miss the bus. If I miss the bus, I will go by taxi. If I go by taxi, I will have no money. If I have no money, blah, blah, blah. So here is where you pause the video, you give yourself 5 minutes, and then you answer them all by yourself. Let's see. If I talk to you now, I'll miss the bus. If I miss the bus, I'll be late for work. If I am late for work, be careful. We don't say if I be late for work. If I am late for work, my boss will be angry with me. If my boss is angry with me, I'll lose my job. Give yourself 5 more minutes because I'm giving answers to the second one. If I lend you £1,000, you'll buy a new guitar. If you buy a new guitar, you'll start a band. If you start a band, you'll never get a job. If you don't get a job, you'll never pay me the money back. Give yourself 5 more minutes for the last time. And come back because I'm giving the answers to the last one. If you don't take an umbrella, you will get wet. And if you get wet, you will catch a cold. If you catch a cold, you won't do well in your exam tomorrow. And if you don't do well in your exam, you won't get a place at university. And the last exercise. Choose one of the stories here, one of the offers. The first one says you are offered a job in Madrid next year. Second one, you're offered a free round-the-world travel ticket. The third one, you're offered a job as a top fashion model. And the last one, you're offered a place in the top football team in your country. Choose one of them and write your own story. Just as an example, I choose the first one and look at my story. You're offered a job in Madrid next year, so I say, if I go to Spain next year, I'll learn Spanish. And if I learn Spanish, I'll watch Spanish soap operas. If I watch Spanish soap operas, I'll feel depressed. If I feel depressed, I'll come back to Turkey. So 4 sentences for your story would be enough, right? Choose one of those 4. If I go to Spain next year, if I travel around the world, if I work as a top fashion model, if I play for blah 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 team. Write a story for yourself. 4 sentences would be enough. And that's it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.